right, and we will start with Mayor Holden on the introduction.
My name is Kip Holden. I grew up right here in Scotlandville. I'm a graduate of both universities, but I did undergrad in journalism at LSU. I did my master's in law degree here at Southern. While I was working on my master's degree, I taught in the journalism school here. After I graduated from law school, I was a professor here at Southern for 10 years. Also, while I was in the legislature, under Dr. Dolores Spikes and Governor Buddy Romer, we were able to sit down and negotiate about the horrible conditions that students had to learn in Baton Rouge and especially at Southern University. So therefore, Dr. Spikes gave them a list of things that they needed, and the governor needed a vote. I told the governor very clearly, the only way I will give a vote to you is if you let me get a list from Dr. Spikes and you address every issue that she has on this piece of paper. You addressed a lot of those issues. Unfortunately, our universities are decaying right now, but I can tell you this, I have the experience, and you'll hear more as we go through this whole program, and have been mayor now for 3 terms, and frankly became the only person to win the mayoral office, became the only person in the history of Baton Rouge to carry all 820 precincts in the first time in the history. I love Southern, and the band may teach me something one day, I hope, but I love being here, and the record, as you hear as we go farther, you'll see what I've already done. So I'm running on my record and stressing the improvements I will make also. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me here tonight. I'm glad to be here all the way up from Plaquemines Parish. I didn't set out to get into politics. Me and my wife rode out Katrina to protect some animals. We had a riding center that we took disabled children out of wheelchairs and lifted them onto the back of a horse. And when Katrina approached, we took care of over 200 children and adults with disabilities. And it was the greatest thing I've ever done with my life. We rode out Katrina to protect those animals. We rescued people for 5 days. 32 people lived with us for months I didn't even know, from South Plaquemines, and animals for months. I never saw an elected official. People told me to shut up, quit complaining, or do something about it. So I ran for office. And I saw 8 years as parish president, if you truly cared about helping people, and you had a love and passion for making a difference in people's lives, politics was easy. Just do the right thing. 8 years later, we've created thousands of jobs. As a matter of fact, 25,000 people come to work from every parish in the state in Plaquemines Parish. We've got great schools, low crime, because we worked as a team and we included everybody. As Lieutenant Governor, every parish in this state, every group in this state will have a seat at the table in how we spend tourism dollars. I have a plan to grow tourism 10% a year. That'll add 66,000 tourism jobs and over $400 million in economic growth in the state of Louisiana. It's not hard. Teamwork, hard work, love and passion for the state will do great things. Thank you very much.
We're going to get it kicked off with the questions, and we will start with Mr. Nungesser. One of the chief responsibilities of the Lieutenant Governor is to oversee the state's culture and tourism industry. What personal qualities and experiences make you the candidate best suited to fulfill this role?
Well, you've got to be an ambassador, a salesman, and no great thing has ever been achieved anywhere without that passion. And I have that love and passion for this state. You see, I started a company with an old shipping container and a $7,000 loan from my mother. My dad told me those containers have been around for years. Someone would already thought of that. I built that into a business with over 200 employees, $26 million in sales, and became the leader in offshore living quarters out of old shipping containers. I had to sell that to the industry. We've got great things to sell in this state, and I would love the opportunity. What a great place to promote. We've got so many things that we haven't promoted on a statewide basis. Hunting and fishing, the horse industry, just to name a few. And I have that love and passion and the hard work and the ethics to promote and sell the state around the world.
Mayor Holden?
Yes, sir. The same question? Yes, sir. Let me kind of set the background here. When I took office, we didn't even have one hotel in downtown Baton Rouge. Now we have 11. If you look at downtown, it used to be a ghost town. Look at how much activity is occurring there. When you look at how we work with Southern University and check out from engineering to business administration to healthcare, you name it, we work with all of those programs. But then also, we're the #1 metro area in the nation for economic development. The best small city to live and work as a filmmaker, the best city in America for young families, and #8 best place to live in America. So all of these things are already here. So you have seen things. IBM, myself and Steve Morey recruited IBM to come to Baton Rouge. Electronic Arts, myself and the state recruited those companies to come in. We work very actively with Southern on various projects that we have. The water campus that will be built by the river. Southern University is a major player in that. LSU is a major player. But students will also be able to come and work there. But I also do things overseas. Spain, France, mainland China, and other places as well that we've gone to work with the university. And I can tell you the progress that we made together has been astronomical. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Holden, to you first. What do you see as Louisiana's chief assets or selling points, and how specifically will you capitalize on them to market the state?
The best asset is the people. But for some reason, people don't realize how great the state is. Neither do they venture out into areas where they can learn more about the people who can make the state greater. And so what I'll be doing is working again with the people here and at other universities, because they're suffering some of the same problems too. On healthcare, we started what we call a program that we now, instead of you having to look if you have cancer, instead of you having to go outside of this state in order to find out whether or not you have a cure, we started a program here with Mary Perkins Cancer Center, where all you have to do is go there and check and see whether or not there's a match in case you need a match right there. So we go out and we tell people about Baton Rouge. The awards we have won on the national level, we only heard a few. But again, we're winning awards after awards after awards, but we also go to other parts of the state and sell the story of what's happening in Baton Rouge, how we're becoming better. And then we have partnerships with places like Sherwin-Williams. We have partnerships with many of the scientific institutions. So what will be happening here will not just be you and what you do in Baton Rouge. Working with a number of people, we'll also be going to France and Britain and these other places. So you will have a job that's guaranteed to keep you moving, keep you as a person wanted in the market, and keep us going.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Nunez, the same thing. What do you think are the chief assets and selling points to market the state?
God, there's so many. Our people, our food, our culture, our music, every part of this state has something unique to offer. What a great opportunity to sell that to the world. But if we don't put our best foot forward, our greatest asset for selling and promoting the state is the people that come here to visit and see things for the first time and go home and tell their friends and family, you've got to go see Louisiana. But what we got to do is work closely with the next governor to restore the cuts to tourism. The state parks, museum, historical sites are in deplorable shape. So people are not leaving here with the best impression of Louisiana. They're our best salesmen. We've got to make sure every time they leave Louisiana, they leave here with a good taste in their mouth, and they tell people, you've got to go see these things in Louisiana. It's magnificent. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to make sure we put our best foot forward, and when people leave, they can't wait to come back and they can't wait to tell a friend or a family member, you've got to see Louisiana.
Now, let me ask you, gentlemen, when you're talking to a room full of folks from the age of 18 to maybe 80, I know my dad's in the room, he's 73, and so how do you make the politics of your job make sense to the everyday person? And what are you going to do if you're lieutenant governor to make sure that the top talent like these kids when they graduate college don't leave the state of Louisiana? Starting with Mr. Nugget.
Well, let me tell you, you've got to listen. Too often we elect people, and if you're like me, after they get elected, they only do what they got to do to get reelected, no more, no less. In Plaquemines Parish, we had no jobs. Everybody left after Katrina. I went to the refineries, and I said, let me see your vendor list. 90% of everything they bought came out of Texas. That's where their corporate office is. Today, 95% of the vendors are local companies, and they employ local people. We created so many jobs in Plaquemines Parish, we only have 23,000 people live there. 25,000 people from every parish in the state calls Plaquemines Parish their place of business. We help small businesses grow, and it was nothing fancy. We just elected a guy who cared enough about people and employing people and finding them jobs that he did everything physically possible to make a difference in their life. And that's what we got to do. Imagine if I went to Exxon in Baton Rouge, said, let me see your vendor list. Everything you're making out of state, no more. We're going to find somebody in Louisiana that wants to make that right here. We've got a lot of empty warehouses. We need to just care enough, not to just cut a few ribbons, but to absolutely care about growing our economy and helping everybody find a good job.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
I just want to correct one thing. There is no law on the books in Louisiana that can tell a company you can't purchase a product from another country. I mean, just look at what's happening in the United States. There's no such law. But what you do, you go and sit at that table when you're recruiting those individuals and begin to lay out what you would like to accomplish. And so that's what we've done. We sit at the table when we're recruiting. Atlantic Southeast Airlines is over at the airport right now. We had to outbid. We were bidding against Arkansas. But finally, Governor Foster listened to the pleas that we made. And so Atlantic Southeast Airlines is located right here. When you look at all of the different companies where they're located, look in North Baton Rouge. And if you don't believe it's happening, look in today's paper where the city of Central wants to take the property taxes that we have made here in Baton Rouge. You look at the jobs, what I've told you is absolutely right. There's not one city in Louisiana that comes anywhere close to what Baton Rouge has done for people in terms of employment, in terms of businesses, and you name it. Check out the Chamber of Commerce. Check out what we do with black vendors here, with the business school, the School of Business. Don't take my word for it, and you'll see the story as it's really happening and not be on Fantasy Island. Thank you.
Mayor Holden, this is a question for you specifically. You've been mayor of Baton Rouge now 11 years, and much of Baton Rouge has developed on the other side of what I call the Mason-Dixon line of Baton Rouge, Florida Boulevard. For African Americans who have not seen the same level of economic development in North Baton Rouge, if we haven't seen it for us now, why should we expect to see it as Lieutenant Governor?
Well, what I'm going to do is give you a tour, and so you can understand that what you're saying is not correct. We have a lot of things happening right here in North Baton Rouge. All of these plants you see down the line, this is where a lot of those individuals come from. This university, and their families have come from this university. But, you know, if a person lives here and get a job at IBM, is that a crime? No. One of the first people we hired was a young lady from Maryland, Louisiana. She went to this school. So when we go out and recruit things and put people to work, there's not a color line there at all. And there's nobody that's ever, I have never been charged with a discrimination suit.
That's not really the question.
Well, okay, then ask me the question again.
When you look at North Baton Rouge, you can look at Piggly Wiggly right down the street. There are things closing in North Baton Rouge and opening in South Baton Rouge. and let me make a complete statement. There's Perkins Road in North and South Baton Rouge. There's downtown, all the economic development. You talk about the hotel industry. If you look at hotels right on this side of town, there are not even sidewalks all the way down Hardin Boulevard if somebody does stay in that hotel to go to the local restaurants that are right there, some of which are black owned. Why are we not getting the same that they get on the other side of town?
You don't have the investors who are investing in this community. And I'm telling you that straight up. But the second part, we have sidewalks right now. Okay, go to Split Street when you leave here. These are poor areas. And look at the sidewalks there. Go to 4th Street over in Zion City.
But there's no business there.
Well, sir, but they have homes there. Okay? I can't force a business to move into an area because right there back in the avenues at the corner of Avenue E and Elm Avenue, Sears Grocery, and they've been a family business in the heart of Stockmanville and in the avenues for well over 60 to 70 years. You know what? People aren't shopping there anymore. And so that's what you have to do. Piggly Wiggly has not left. Piggly Wiggly is now operating under a new name, owned by the same people.
I'm aware of that, but you're still, so if you couldn't bring investment to North Baton Rouge, how are you going to bring investment to the state?
Well, sir, then you take the stats and you find something that dispute what I'm saying, and I'll donate to you $1,000 for the university. Because I can tell you that we've been on, as a matter of fact, this magazine here, 225, celebrating a decade of progress and envisioning the future. What's that?
That's my competition. That's not a good point.
Well, if you want to get into competition, okay, the bottom line is simply this. When people want a job, they don't care what I'm saying, who's hired them. The bottom line is simply this. We're celebrating a decade of progress, my friend, and we or nobody else in the United States can dispute our statistics.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Nuggets, what initiatives will you implement to make sure that minority-owned businesses receive more opportunity to succeed?
I think one thing we're missing in the tourism industry is a oversight, a board, not only to make sure we hire minority companies, but to look at what is needed. You know, a lot of the contracts with the tourism industry are with companies out of state, and that bothers me. You know, I was talking to a young photographer here tonight that's graduating this year, and we've got to look at what the tourism industry hires, you know, for publications, for filming. We've got to make sure that we include and we have a diverse group that helps me look at what opportunities are there, and we make sure no out-of-state companies are doing films, production, or printing for anything to do. We've got great people here with great ideas. They know this state better than anybody. They deserve a seat at the table in how we spend the money and who gets those contracts, and we'll have a diverse group that'll make those decisions and advise me on the best way and the best way to invest in our own people and not in companies out of state.
So, then this is for both of y'all. With African Americans making up 33% of the population, you guys are going to have a department to hire in how you do your business and going to run your office. Can you commit to hire 33% of your staff, African American qualified candidates?
You know, I don't know, absolutely. Let me say this. Here's what I don't know, because I haven't met with any of the staff in the Lieutenant Governor's office. I've met a few of them on the campaign trail, but you know, I'm not looking to go in and fire anybody. But as we see people leave, because we can't cut off our nose to spite my face, I absolutely will give an opportunity. First person I hired in Plaquemines Parish was Byron Williams, was the best director I had, was from the East Bank of Plaquemines Parish after it was devastated. And everybody said, well listen, he lives on the East Bank, nobody lives over there, why did you hire him? Because he was the best qualified, and he became the best director Plaquemines Parish ever had. So I absolutely will give everybody an opportunity when those jobs come available.
Mr. Mayor.
Well, of course, there was no answer to the question, 33%. Okay, to come back again. I invite you, one of the best police chiefs we've ever had was Jeff LeDuc. First black. If you come down in my office to personnel, you're going to see a black face. If you look at healthcare in the city parish, you're going to see a black face. But I'd like to tell you this. I am going to continue to hire people from all walks of life. The Hispanics can also make an argument. A number of the Muslims can make an argument. There are a lot of people who can make an argument. My thing is when you come into that door, the first thing I want you to be treated as an individual, a human being. I don't want you disrespected. And then when you take that test, I don't want them to set a different set of rules for you or anybody else when you're taking that test. And then when you go up and that department head tries to tell me why they chose this person over another person, that person better have some strong rules and regulations that say this is why I hired this person versus somebody else. So all I can tell you is simply this. We will continue to hire a number of people. And again, I invite you at any point in time, just talk to the people at this university. Talk to the dean over the business school. Talk to others. Talk to how we work together even with the agriculture, different things that we do to make sure that poor families can have fresh crops. We do a little bit of everything, and that's what we'll continue to do. But you come out, you get the training, do the job, and there's no discrimination that's going to stand in your way.
So my question to both of you guys, will you commit to hire 33%?
Sir, I'm going to tell you again, for the second time, there is not one business in Baton Rouge that's going to make a commitment that this is a predominantly white business. There's not one business that's going to make a commitment. Let me finish my statement. There's not one that's going to make a commitment that they're going to have 33% of the staff. Okay, because you are now trying to push a law that is unconstitutional. You cannot set quotas. You cannot set them. And the second part is simply this.
So
are you going to let me finish, sir?
you got to expedite the time.
Okay, the bottom line is simply this.
So the answer is no, in short?
No, that's your answer. That if you want to answer my questions, then just ask Mrs. Nungas.
Mr. Nungas, 33% is the question.
Let me tell you this. I wouldn't limit it to 33%. I think if you look at what I did in Plaquemines Parish, I believe that the majority, or it may even be more than that, of the people I hired in Plaquemines, I'm not sure. We've got to put the qualified people in there. And what I talked about earlier about taking people like that young man that's going to graduate and help him get set up in a business to do work for the Lieutenant Governor's office, everybody will have an equal opportunity. And I wouldn't limit it to 33%. You're selling people short. We need to help these young people find jobs and create opportunities for them so everybody can have a good job in Louisiana.
Thank you.
I'm still going to answer the question whether it's committed to 33%. And you press me on it. Ask again the question, are you going to limit to 33%? I would have 33% also. Tell me in Plaquemines Parish you have 33% in every aspect of your government in Plaquemines.
I don't know exactly what it is, but Kip, I agree with you. You can't set a number on it, but I wouldn't limit it to 33%. So I
You go under 33%.
no, I think you've got to do it to qualified people that are be there.
There's a room full of African
But
Americans.
then absolutely they will have an opportunity. Yes.
Well, I don't think we got the fullness of it, but and guys, listen to me. And Mr. Mayor Holden, as well as Mr. Nungas, for us as African Americans, when we look at the demographics here in Baton Rouge, the African American community, the median income is 39,000. African white people, it's 90,000. And part of that comes from sometimes we're educated, but we're underemployed. And so when those jobs in your administration come available, I just want to know that we're going to get them, because sometimes we're not getting them. And let me say, because I know we've got to close this portion of it. So this is not an interrogation on either one of you. It's more about getting a direct answer. So I understand that neither one of you can commit to it.
You can't commit, because if it doesn't happen, you're gonna say they didn't fulfill it. But I think both of us agree, if I can speak, is that we give everybody an opportunity, and we have that passion for helping people find jobs and qualified jobs.
I'll allow both of you all to give your closing statements. you, Mr. Nunez.
Thank you. I want to thank you all for allowing us here tonight, and I'd like to encourage these young people, whoever you vote for, please go out and vote. Today is Veterans Day, and it angers me that only 30% of the registered people in this state are going to decide the next governor and lieutenant governor. There's men and women that gave their lives, their families lost loved ones, to give you the right to vote. So whoever you vote for, please exercise that right. I'd be honored to have your support for Lieutenant Governor. You will never be disappointed with my hard work, my honesty, nor my effort to do the right thing. I have that love and passion for Louisiana, and you won't be disappointed if you give me the opportunity to open our doors to the world and invite everyone in. Thank you, and God bless you.
Let me thank you as well. We have done quite a bit for the employees in Baton Rouge. For 3 years, we did not raise the insurance of our employees for 3 years in a row. We go out everywhere to recruit and bring people in. We have great partnerships with Southern. Don't take my word for it or anybody up here. Ask the deans of the colleges and universities that you go to. Go over to the Southern University Law School and ask them. Go over to the Media Center and ask them, basically what I have done here at Southern University. My wife is here. She's been working here 40 years. 40 years. And so what we will see is this. You will see the transition whereby we will continue to promote and bring companies in here. You'll see people being taken care of, and you'll see the first place again in the United States. When the new library is built, you'll have green screen technology that's only taught to kids when they are now in junior college. So kids at an elementary school level will be ready even to go into the film industry. And there's many, many more things to come. But you have looked at me for 11 years. Take a look at me and what has happened to the city. And this has not been Fantasy Island. We compete with anybody in the United States and out of the United States. Let me thank all of you for the time tonight. Thank you for your questions. And let me tell you what, there's more to come. And Louisiana is going to be great. But we have to have the partners both here at Southern, LSU, and the community college working with us. And God bless you.